Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. In the place to be, it's your boy HH, and you know it's me. Check, 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 check. Cheer. Cheer. Heaven Hollywood, the Heaven Hollywood Experience, live on YouTube. We're going to go live on Twitch as well. Maybe even TikTok. So, had some technical difficulties on the what's up, man? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. We're about to go live on TikTok. We're about to go live on Twitch. It's your boy, it's the Heaven Hollywood Experience. Live here on YouTube. My mics is crazy. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. What's up, Willie? What's up to my moderator, Darius? Young Riaz in the building. Okay? As soon as you come in, hit that like button, man. Hit that like button so we ain't got to worry about it later on. This pushes this live through the atmosphere, through the algorithm. And we're going to be talking about a couple of things here. We're going to be on for an hour, man. This is the hour power, the power hour. That's what I'm going to start doing every day, the power hour from 1 to 2. And then on the weekends, we're going to have our big show. So that's how it's going to get down from now on. 1 to 2 during the weekday. Yes, Sharice, you caught it live. Welcome. 1 to 2 during the weekday, and then on the weekends, we're going to do my big 3-hour show. So that's the way we giving it up from now on. All right? So we got 60 minutes. Y'all please make sure that you support the channel by either sending a super chat or sending a cash app to $ Heaven Hollywood. You can send what you want. $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, 25 cents. I don't give a fuck. Whatever you want to send. 3/4, 75 cents. If you got 75 cents, send me 75 cents to support. A lot of times when we get into these topics and whatever, a lot of these celebrities are cracking down, right? And they really ain't messing with us. They really ain't messing with us. What's up, Sasha? So we're going to be talking about Nicki Minaj, like I said, only by popular demand and by a lot of requests. People want me to speak on it. I did a video on it. Like I said, man, I try to stay away from these celebrities' personal lives. I don't really want to get into their personal life like that. I'm really only cared about the music and the product. But every now and again, people say, yo, Heb, if you don't talk about it, I'm not going to believe it. So that's the only reason I'm going to talk about it. The members only, my members only crew, they're going to get an exclusive breakdown video about this. I'm in the process of doing that now. So all the members only crew can be expecting that later today. And it's funny, man. I seen a comment and then my assistant brought it up to me and she said, just of the video I just made talking about what I'm going to talk about today, the Desiree Perez situation. And somebody says, nobody hates Nicki Minaj more than this guy. Really? So, so you haven't heard Vlad TV? Right? You said you were very confused when Gossip of the City said what they said. Well, let me know, what did they say? What's up, Rose? I'm saying, so you've never heard Vlad TV, the way they talk about Nicki Minaj, the way they insult Nicki Minaj. So you've never heard Vlad TV? You've never heard, what's that guy's name on Twitter? Chad or whatever? You gonna tell me I talk bad about Nicki Minaj worse than them? Come on, man. I don't talk bad about Nicki Minaj at all. I talk more bad about her fans than I do her. You know what I mean? So I talk way more words about her fans than I do about her. Because, you know, her fans, it's kind of like, and I'm not talking about her fans that mess with me, like Darius and Pam. Like, I have some real barbs that F with me, right? Because they know that I always look out for Nicki's best interest. But if I'm going to criticize Nicki Minaj, most of my criticism come looking out for her best interest, right? Because, you know, you have to have that person out there to be like, no, Nicki, no, 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 don't do that. You know what I mean? See, that's a lot of these celebrities' problem. They don't have nobody in their corner that's going to be like, no, get off the internet. You don't need to do that. They just got a bunch of yes men, and whenever they do something, they, oh my God, she's so funny. Oh, she's so crazy. And it'd be like, it's not even that funny. You know what I mean? It's not even that funny. Like, you really shouldn't even be doing that. Like, don't be calling for extra problems. Now, when I was saying all along, I'm like, I don't know if Nicki should be calling out Rock Nation. I don't know if she should be naming Desiree and this, that, and the other, right? All about, no, oh, that Nicki gonna call her out. Nobody's like her. Everybody else is scared to call out Rock Nation. I'm like, but what's the point? Like, what? There is no point. If you're not going to go to court for your money that you say they owe you, what's the point of coming on the internet and saying something? And then we're going to discuss why I was saying what I was saying. We're going to discuss that today. Now, we're also going to talk real quickly about this whole Drake situation with Young Thug. And Young Thug got all these tapes released, and he talking all this smack about Drake after Drake reportedly gave that fool $1 million and said, free Thug, man, free Thugger, man. And it comes to turn out that Thugger was no better than nobody else. He was talking mess about Drake, too. We don't talk about that. We gonna talk about your boy Diddy. Is Diddy getting out? Is Diddy getting out? You know, what a lot of people don't see is and understand is on September 25th, we all know that Diddy has a sentencing due on October 3rd, but on September 25th, all of a sudden, there is a hearing, a murder surprise hearing. Well, wait a minute. If he's getting sentenced on October 3rd, why are we having a hearing on September 25th? Now remember, Diddy's lawyers had asked for a new trial. They also asked for an acquittal. They said if you don't outright acquit him, then he's going to need a new trial. And they let Judge Arun Subramanian know. They let him know, listen, if he does not get a new trial or an acquittal, we're just letting you know, this will be appealed. We're going to bring all of this proof and evidence to the appellate court. And if your decision gets overturned, that's going to look really bad on you, especially this is your first big case and you've only been in the chair for 2 years. So you better think long and hard before you start putting yourself out there for the prosecution who lost. They didn't win. They lost. They lost the battle to Diddy's dream team. So, yeah, they got the prostitution charges. However, the prostitution charges, judging from everything that Diddy's lawyers have said, should not be allowed to stand on its own if he's been acquitted of the RICO. Right? So that's what they're bringing up. They're like, listen, he got acquitted of the RICO, so there is no coercion. You can't leave him in saying, oh, yeah, he's violent and all the coercion. He got acquitted for all that stuff. He got acquitted for that. So it does not stand, the prostitution charge has to stand on its own. And remember, Diddy did not have X with the workers, with the ex-workers. He had guys meet them in a certain state or whatever to have X with his girlfriends. So if the ex-workers haven't been charged, And Cassie and Jane, who were actually having sex with the workers, hasn't been charged. How is Diddy in jail? How is Diddy in jail? He didn't set it up. Jane Doe and Cassie set it up. He didn't physically pay them. Jane Doe or Cassie paid them. So how's he in jail? That's what they want to bring up. He never had sex with the workers, so the prostitution charge is what? He's not the pimp. He didn't make money. They didn't come and pay him. And that's what prostitution is. Prostitution is you have to be commercial. You have to make money off of it, which he did not. So you got to think, why is Diddy in jail? It's a good question. If Cassie's not in jail and Jane Doe's not in jail, and the ex-workers, the Punisher and the Terminator and all these other dudes that they had come there, if they're not in jail and their company, which is Cowboys for Angels, they didn't get in trouble. The only person that got in trouble is Diddy. And now he's been acquitted of the RICO charges. So again, I ask, why is he still in jail? Because he's Diddy. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Because he's Diddy and they want to do something. They're mad that they lost, so they have to try to get him on something. Again, September 25th, all of a sudden the judge has said there is a hearing on September 25th. If he was going to just turn down the new trial or the acquittal, he would have said, nah, denied, like he did the last bail hearing. And they also said they want him there on September 25th. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. It's going to be interesting to see whether Diddy can get out September 25th. They might just let him out and say, you know what? Just here's the acquittal. Now, what you want to hope they don't do, right? Let me tell you how, and then we're going to get off this and go to the next subject. Let me tell you how Diddy can screw himself over. You ready? Y'all put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Remember, if you want to support the channel, send a Cash App or a Super Chat. The Cash App is preferred because then I get the full Cash App. So if you send me a $5 Super Chat, I'm not going to get the whole $5. YouTube's going to get half of it. But if you're going to send me a $5 Cash App, at least I'll get the entire Cash App. So put a 1 in the chat for everybody that can hear me, please, because I don't see any more movement down below. Y'all put a 1 in the chat. Y'all like my microphone? The microphone's crazy. It's nice and loud. You can hear me down the block if I wanted to. Okay, great. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing out there? You know, everybody's kids are back in school. My kid is back in school. Oh, it's a glorious day. I have till 3 o'clock every day to myself. What's up, Sean? So here's where Diddy can screw himself, and I hope this don't happen. If the judge, right? If the judge says, okay, we're going to give you a new trial, right? But here's how he can screw Diddy. And this is where Diddy's, especially so close to his sentencing. If the judge says, we're going to give you a new trial, but you still have to stay locked up until your new trial. And this ain't going to be no speedy trial. So your new trial is June 2026. Right? And then Diddy said, okay, well, since there's a new trial, he's been acquitted of the RICO. We're going to try to get him out on bail into the trial. And the judge says, nope. Violence. He's still violent. What if that happened to Diddy? So that's the one thing I'm afraid. I'm like, wait a minute. What if the judge says, yeah, we're going to get you a new trial, but you got to stay in jail until that trial. And now this ain't going to be a speedy trial. This is going to be, and we don't have freedom on the calendar until late 2026. And you have to stay here in the BMT or whatever it's called for another year. I don't put it past them that could be a way that they get him. That could be a way that they get him, because if they say, okay, we're not going to let him out into the trial, okay, then we'll have to bail. We'll put together a bail package. They've already turned down $50 million 2 times. So just keep that in mind. Remember that the king of media told y'all. Keep that in mind. If they say, okay, you get a new trial, Diddy says yes. Oh, so can I go home now? No, you're still in custody. You're still in custody. Okay? Right. I'm gonna get to Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Zoo Petty in a minute. So watch out for that. The 25th. It's a good chance that Diddy. Now, if they say acquittal, I would be surprised. I would be shocked if they let him out after all this time. I'll be really less surprised about a new trial. But let's just see. I wish the best for Diddy, because like I said, I'm rooting for Diddy. I mess with Diddy. Y'all can't turn me against Diddy. I've done 5 business deals with Diddy, and they were all successful. He ain't never jipped me on my money. He wasn't never rude to me, like nothing ever happened. So I'm cool with Diddy. Diddy's never done nothing wrong to me. And those other girls was his girlfriends. I don't think he's dangerous at all. I don't think Diddy wasn't going around just randomly beating up women. I'm not that he should be beating them up anyway, but those women that were in the freak-offs was his girlfriends. He wasn't just going up and grabbing and beating up random women. He was in a toxic relationship with 2 females, and they got into a domestic dispute. Is it right? Of course it's not right. But sometimes that happens in relationships, right? And it's your job to get out of that domestic toxic relationship. So let's move on. Shout out to Diddy. Milagro and Megan Thee Stallion. So the court, bad news for my girl Millie. The court has granted Milagro. It seems like all the wins come from Millie, come from Meg Thee Stallion, don't it? Seems like she's been the only one to win in these motions. I haven't really heard any good news for Millie yet. And they have granted Megan Thee Stallion permission to depose Millie again. I'm like, well, damn, how many times is she going to get to depose Millie? And the things that they put up on the paperwork, they put the things that each of the I want to say contestants, it's not a game, but they put up on in the paperwork what each of the people have, the defendant and the plaintiff. And Millie's got a few things, a couple of tweets, this, that, and the other. But Milagro Grams had about, I'm not Milagro Grams, Megan Thee Stallion, she had about close to 90 pages worth of discovery. This text, that text, DMs between Milagro and Sunstar and Shining Star and this star and that star. She's got tweets and DMs with her and Tory Lanez. She's got DMs with the father, multiple DMs with the father. They got bank records, they got PayPal records, they got Cash App records. Oh my goodness gracious. Man, I hope Millie's right. I hope all the things that was found on these things, I hope she said they were nothing. That's what Millie said. Millie said they were nothing. I got to take her word for it until I see something different. You know, if Milagro Graham says it's nothing, they found nothing, well, I got to take her word for it for right now. Right? Until it's shown otherwise. Now, I know everybody gets on me. They say I'm too soft on Millie and, you know, everybody else. Oh, I'm hard on everybody else. But I'm not hard on Milagro. I know it. I get it every single day. My supporters tell me all the time, leave her alone. Stop supporting her. Stop defending her. They tell me this all the time. But I'm just being truthful. If she says that there is nothing in those DMs that is going to be harmful to her and it's a big waste of time, well, I mean, I had to take a word for it until we get shown otherwise. That's the way I look at it. So, I mean, man, some of the things, right, that they said that they have, I mean, it's just this message, that private message. Oh, plans for a lunch date with Shining Star and Milagro. I'm like, plans for a lunch date? Like, you know, I'm not it's not me. But I do know that Tory's dad is married. I've seen his wife or whatever. I know if there was that many DMs and then it says something about a date, plans for a power date with Milagro Grams and Shining Star, I'm like, if I'm Shining Star's wife, I'm gonna be like, what I mean by a date? What did you going on a date for? Why are you going on a date? You know, that's just me. It's like, you're a married man. Why is there so many private DMs with Milagro, who they said they just met each other a couple years ago when this happened? That's a lot of DMs for somebody that you don't know. But as Crystal Nicole says, I digress. But some of the things that they say that Megan Thee Stallion has, holy smoke. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to look at just run across a couple of them, and then we're going to get off of Megan and Milagro. And this trial or whatever is coming up. Witness list, preparation. Look, these things that they have. Y'all can still hear me, right? Some of the things that, my goodness. I'm looking here on Jay Nolan. Shout out to Jay Nolan. I was exaggerating. 38 pages, right? 38 pages. And the witness list they had, I see some people, Milagro had Kylie Jenner on it, with everybody's getting excited saying, oh, listen. And you can take this to the bank. Kylie Jenner will never see court behind this. Never. So, 38 pages. It starts off. Text messages between Emil Holland Briggs and Milagro Cooper. Emil Holland Briggs is the guy who's her ex-friend. I think his name was like Nor or something like that. That's her ex-friend. Text message between them. Another text message between them. A station head post. Now, all of these, from what they say, are deleted now. Milagros tweet on Mob's World on August 12th. Milagros tweet on Mob's World August 27th. Now remember, these tweets are gone, deleted, and she doesn't have that account anymore as well. But they got a hold of it. 38 pages of this stuff. Milagros tweet with Mob's World. Milagros tweet on Mob's World. I mean, all you see is page on top of page on top of page. Y'all hit that like button. Coming through the door, right? Look at this. This is crazy. You got Milagros WhatsApp messages, iMessages with Sunstar Peterson, criminal protective order. They showed that. You got Milagro Graham's tweet on the 22nd. There's another tweet on the 22nd. There's another tweet on March 12th about a screenshot of Tory Lanez. 2 screenshots of Tory Lanez Cap official music video. I mean, they got a lot of stuff, man. They got a lot of stuff. Dan Jr. said Milagro is a Drake fan. Enough said. I mean, what's that got to do with it? I'm a Drake fan, but I'm not on trial. I'm not getting sued. So what does a Drake fan have to do with anything? You just trying to take a shot at Drake, Dan Jr.? All right, Milagro Cooper's email to Sunstar Peterson. I mean, and it's just page after page. They got this, they got that, they got this. It's like, man, it's going to be tough to overcome this. And it's going to be a power lunch. Sunstar be the power lunch with Milagro. Like, oh my God. It's like being an R. Kelly fan. You can say in public. I can say it in public. I don't get that. I don't get down with all that internet stuff, Dan Jr. The internet don't control what I listen to. The internet don't control who I like. I'm not ashamed to say I like somebody just because the internet don't like them. Like, I don't get down like that. That's more you young cats. I'm a Gen X dude. Like I move the way I want to move. Right? I move the way I want to move. I like who I like. And if they don't do nothing to me, I don't be going off them like, oh yeah, I can't mess with R. Kelly because of this girl. I don't give a fuck about that girl. I don't know them women. It didn't happen to my daughter. I don't give a fuck. If it ain't my daughter and it ain't my people, that's not my concern. All I know is feeling on your booty, your booty, your booty, booty. Look, that's my joint. I don't give a damn about all that other stuff. All that personal stuff ain't got nothing to do with me. Now, I'd probably feel different if it was my daughter, but it ain't. It ain't. So the people whose daughter that it is that got involved with R. Kelly, yeah, I could see them being upset at R. Kelly. But why would I be upset at R. Kelly? I don't know that man. I don't know him, and I don't know the women that were involved with him. That ain't got nothing to do with me. All I know is the joints, the songs, that's all I care about. I don't get involved in all the personal stuff, right? And all the many celebrities that I have met, I go on what happened when I met them. Like when I met them, if I had a good experience with them, I'm not going to shit on them. Like for what? Because all of this stuff is allegations, right? It's all allegations. I don't believe whatever I see on the internet. I don't believe something unless I heard. Another thing I want to go into on my podcast is the whole Beyonce's got bad breath thing. We're going to get into that. And it's amazing how that rumor somebody took that rumor and ran with it. And we've never heard the person that so-called started that rumor. We've never heard them address it and say, yeah, this is true. She does have bad breath. Notice that? But everybody took that rumor and ran with it for years and years and years. You got people who was 5 years old that are 20 now saying, oh, Beyonce got bad breath. Like, you ain't never been in the presence of Beyonce. How you know Beyonce had bad breath? Because it was a rumor that got started when you was young? You know what I'm saying? It's a rumor that got started when you was young, and you just gonna run with it? You know what I mean? Me, I was around Beyonce. She smelled good to me. And she talked to me. I was right in front of her. I didn't smell her breath. She called me baby and the whole nine. I had her on camera. I got a picture of Beyonce up close. I didn't smell no bad breath. I don't know who started that rumor. Maybe that day she just woke up. Maybe you got to her when she just woke up. You know what I'm saying? All I know is I just go by me. When I filmed Beyonce, when I was in the VIP section of the Hip Hop is Dead party, and I came up to her, and Jay was like, nah, don't film me. Don't film me or my wifey. Yo, don't film me. And then she told Jay it was okay, I could film her. I was close to her when she said that. And then later on, the only thing I smelled on her breath was a whiskey sour, because she had a couple of drinks, and she was like, don't film me when I'm drunk now. Don't film me when I'm drunk. I'm a different girl. I'm a different girl when I'm drunk now. Don't film me when I'm drunk. And I was like, okay, Queen, I ain't gonna film you when you're drunk. Right? So, and I didn't. So I never smelled Beyonce's breath. Now, there has been a couple of celebrities I'm like, damn, this nigga funky, or this nigga breath stink, like, that I was talking to, interviewing, and I'm like, yo, this nigga breath stink. There's been a couple of celebrities I was like, their hygiene on that day wasn't up to par. Like, I could smell this nigga from here, and we just interviewing. I mean, what's up? What's up, Miss Louisiana? What's up, Jamina? A fine cell. Jamina, fine, boy. So, all these things, Daystar Prince. So, this is coming up, right? She's gonna be deposed, and I just wish Milagro the best, man. I wish her the best, but it ain't looking good. Now, Cardi B's album is dropping in 2 weeks, and she went back to the basics. She's out on the streets, and she's playing into this whole entire thing about Atlantic Records. You know, a lot of people saying Atlantic shelved Cardi B. Atlantic, Elliot Grange, the son of Lucien Grange, has already come out and debunked all of this. Cardi B was shelved. Cardi B's budget was cut. He basically said that Cardi B is keeping the lights on. That's what he basically said. Right? He basically said Cardi B's keeping the lights on, and she is a fixture in Atlantic, and she ain't going nowhere. That was what Elliot Grange said. So all this stuff about Cardi B was shelved, Cardi B is it's all rumors and hogwash. And if you don't see somebody from Atlantic saying that, right? How are you going to take it as true? When you have the Atlantic Records CEO coming out saying It's not true. Cardi B is a fixture in Atlantic Records. She's been the biggest star on Atlantic Records this side of Bruno Mars. She's been the biggest star on Atlantic Records over the last 7 years. She's probably made more money for Atlantic, more money than anybody, probably except Bruno Mars, in the last 7 years. So Cardi B's budget and whatever is not being cut. Hey, Ev, what are your thoughts on this year's VMAs? I'm going to speak on the VMAs as well, Kai. Thank you for bringing that up. Because the VMAs, surprisingly, I'll get to that in a minute. So Cardi B, I saw DJ Academic saying, oh, is it going to be over 100K or under 100K? She's out there going back to the basics, playing on the whole method of, oh, if I don't sell this record, I'm going to be back on the stripper pole. Please buy my CDs. And this is going to help her because she's out there doing meet and greets. She's out there touching the people. Taylor as well, Jamina. I don't think Taylor got rewarded. And ironically, Taylor wasn't there. So, but again, I will talk about that in a minute. Let me just finish up with what I was saying. Now, what was I talking about? Where was I? Where was I? Oh, Cardi B. So DJ Academic was saying, is this going to be over 100K or under 100K? I'm staying put on what I said. I'm staying put on what I said. I stayed steadfast and said every single year and every single month after the new year, I'm taking 5K away from her for every single month after she's not releasing this album until September. And I said 155. That's where I'm staying. I'm saying at 155. I actually said 150. But because it's a little late push, I think she'll probably get 5 more K. So I'm going to say 155 first week. That's what I'm saying. Now, a lot of people said I'm crazy. Oh, Cardi B's doing 300. No, she's not. And I love Cardi B. She's not doing 300K. She's not doing 300K. I don't even think she's doing 200K. I'll be honest. I don't think she's doing 200. If she does, I'll be surprised. I'll be happy for her. I'll be happy that she did 200, right? Because she did 255 at first. If she could do 255 of Invasion of Privacy and then do 200 on this one, that'd be pretty impressive. You only lost 55K off of Invasion of Privacy? But I'm saying 155. I'm saying 155. We'll see. Shout out to Cardi B. Now, she also says that she collaborated with everybody that she wanted to on this album. And there's rumors that there's rumors that Beyonce is on the album. Let's get into a little Beyonce. Listen, let me play my Beyonce joint. Huh? Huh? What you say, Queen? That's what it there, boy. Uncle Johnny made my dress that cheap spend that she looks a mess. That's my joint, boy. Me and my daughter be going on to that joint. But there's rumors that she has Beyonce on this album. Also, there's rumors that she's got Tyler on this album. Yep, you're right, Darius. Drake did write that record. There's rumors that she's got SZA on this album. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Y'all make sure that y'all hit the like button. I have half as many likes as I have people in here. So everybody that comes in, y'all hit the like button coming in, man. It don't cost you nothing. Hey. It don't cost you nothing to hit that like button. It don't cost you nothing to hit that like button. So everybody that, and please hit the like button, right? 155 is my prediction for Cardi B. We'll come back and we will rediscuss that when the album drops. Now, we discussed whether Diddy's going to get out. We discussed Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro real quick. Like I said, this is an hour show, so we run through the topics fast, and we had to say the best for last. And the best for last is Nicki Minaj. Now, everybody hit me up. I probably had 60 DMs. Yo, Hev, if you don't say it, I don't believe it. Because they know I'm not going to make nothing up, right? My members only people get mad at me. They're like, you don't put a lot of content on members only. That's because I don't want to make nothing up. Like the stuff that I put on members only, I give them exclusive stuff that they're not going to hear anywhere else. That's what they're paying for, right? So I don't want to just come on there and just make some shit up that they're going to be able to hear for free, right? So they asked me, what's going on? I heard that she was throwing his clothes out and cussed him out and she kicked him out and this, that, and the third. Well, listen, I can confirm to you, and that's only because there's somebody who speaks to Kenneth Petty. I'll say allegedly because they told me this and they did show me alleged text message that was allegedly from Kenneth Petty, right? Now, they are allegedly having issues. As far as her throwing his clothes out and that, listen, nobody knows that unless she told it to somebody. And Nicki Minaj is not going to tell her business to nobody on media, nobody on social media. So anybody that's saying they know for a fact, oh yeah, she threw his clothes out. There's no way you're going to know that unless it was reported on TV or reported to the police. And if it was reported to the police, it would have been on TV somewhere. Right? Now, the text messages I seen just said argument, issues, disagreement. It never mentioned, oh yeah, she threw my clothes out. And these text messages was allegedly from him. Never mentioned she threw the clothes out, but they are having major issues right now. Now, one of the reasons may be because you texting this broad who happens to be your ex. You're texting this broad back and forth telling her about your marriage problems. Duh, that's going to be a problem, especially with a woman who's paying all the bills, dummy. She don't need you. She don't need Kenneth Petty. She didn't land on Kenneth Petty. Kenneth Petty landed on her. She didn't land. Nicki Minaj didn't land on Planet Petty. Planet Petty landed on her. She don't need Kenneth Petty, right? So just to think that Kenneth Petty is back there talking to ex-girlfriends about what's going on with him and Nicki Minaj, it's like you got as much nerve as Safari. Nicki Minaj bought Safari matching Lambos. They had matching Lambos. She had her pink Lambo. Remember when she was with Safari when she bought that pink Lambo. Went and bought him a red one. And then he was behind her back smashing porn stars and having pictures of Amber Rose in his laptop. Bucket naked. And that's back when Amber Rose was in her prime. That Amber Rose nude picture back in the early 2000s, oh, that was something to see. Mid-2000s, that was something to see. Amber Rose is still, to me, a top 10 chick. Like when she gets dressed up And, you know, when you can see her face and she ain't got cigar. Let me tell you something. Amber Rose is still top 10 to me. What's up, Lori? So a Amber Rose nude picture in the mid 2000s, boy, that's something. Right? So Safari got caught doing that, you know, messing with Amber Rose. I had the nude pictures of Amber Rose, and then he was behind Nicki's back messing with porn stars or whatever, and she finally got tired of it and kicked him to the curb, rightfully so. Now, Kenneth Petty, she's keeping a little bit more quiet because he's not publicly on social media, even though I've been told he has a burner account. I'm sure he's got a burner account. I'm sure he's got, you know, one with a name when nobody can tell it's him, but somebody is going to realize it's him. Right? One of these girls he's talking to is going to eventually blow him up. So this whole thing with the marriage issues is a reason, it's a partial reason for the hiatus. The other partial reason is for what I was trying to warn Nicki Minaj about. I have a hair like my nose that is bothering the hell out of me. And what was I warning Nicki Minaj about? I was warning her about Desiree Perez. And if you look on the paperwork, Desiree Perez, as we all know, is in a lawsuit with her daughter. Her daughter is suing her. Her daughter is Desiree Hadley. I'm going to explain this very quickly. All Nicki Minaj fans and probably people who aren't Nicki Minaj fans have been noticing over the past couple of months, she's been hashtagging justice for Desiree. Justice for Ramir. I see she's not doing that anymore, but justice for Desiree, justice for Ramir. So Desiree is Desiree's daughter who's suing Desiree, right? Now, there is this Twitter handle called the Desiree Docket. It is in no relations connected to the Diddy docket, but the Desiree Docket is talking about and keeping up with this lawsuit of Desiree Hadley and Desiree Perez. The same justice for Desiree that Nicki Minaj is tweeting, this Desiree Docket tweets the same thing. Now, here's where the issue coming at. Nicki Minaj tweeted, you know, the Desiree Docket has actually been around longer than, I guess they made it when they first started this lawsuit. So it's been around longer than when Nicki Minaj started following the case. But what happened is when Nicki Minaj started tweeting justice for Desiree, all of a sudden it blew up. The hashtag blew up. So now Desiree Perez sees this hashtag justice for Desiree, and she sees this Desiree Docket. So Desiree's like, wait a minute. So they're all in cahoots. The Desiree Docket and my daughter are in cahoots because they have this spreading this narrative online. And it's starting to get all over the place, starting to catch traction, not knowing that the reason why it's really catching traction is because Nicki Minaj tweeted it. That's the reason why it's catching traction. That's the reason why it's trending. Nicki Minaj has 28 million Twitter followers. So it wasn't because Desiree Hadley got involved with the Desiree Docket. They're a small page. If Nicki Minaj tweets something, it's going to probably go viral. So now Desiree Perez, what did she do? If you remember about a month ago, Desiree, who did not have a Twitter account all this time, people saw a Twitter account popping up for Desiree Perez, but that has been a Twitter handle that she's had for years. That's been a Twitter handle she's had for years. She wasn't really using it. So what does Desiree do? She goes and makes a Twitter account, a brand new one. So she comes on, and this is my issue with Nicki's fans. She comes on, right? Knowing she hasn't said anything this whole entire time. what Desiree Perez did. She goes and makes a Twitter handle. Now, Nicki's fan base, we all admit that they're the best, they're the biggest fan base. This side of the Swifties, they're without a doubt the biggest rap fan base online. Right? They immediately run and fall into Desiree's trap. They start tweeting Desiree. They start atting Nicki Minaj, letting Nicki Minaj know that Desiree has an account. So what does Desiree do? She goes into Nicki Minaj's timeline and starts looking back at every single time Nicki tweeted justice for Desiree. And every single time Nicki mentioned Desiree. So now what does this give Desiree? Oh, so Nicki Minaj is in cahoots with the Desiree docket and my daughter. Even though she's not, or at least I don't think she is, but Nicki Minaj is the one with the fans. Nicki Minaj is the one with the money. So it's going to be easy for Desiree to say, how do we know that she's not paying for her lawyers? How do we know that she's the one who's tweeting justice for Desiree, and that's the reason why it's trending and it's all over the place? And we got a gag order on my daughter. I want a gag order on Nicki Minaj because now she's in it. She's in it. You wanted my response? You kept picking and picking and picking at me and mentioning me. I never responded back. People are telling me that you're tweeting me and just calling me Desirat and this, that, and the third and good mate. So now you're in it. And now I'm going to have you deposed, and I'm slapping you with a gag order as well. Because you are now in this lawsuit. Because I think you are in cahoots with the Desiree docket and my daughter. Do you see now why I said I wish Nicki never said anything? Because if she's going through personal issues, right? Let's not forget, she still got, even though it's not her husband is still in the case with Jennifer Yu. So she's got that on her plate. Mind you, she just won a lawsuit. Somebody was accusing her of defamation or what have you. And then she allegedly had to settle with the guy over in Germany that her husband allegedly punched and broke his jaw. He ain't got no money, so she had to pay that. And remember, a few years ago, less than 10 years ago, she had to pay Tracy Chapman $800,000, I believe, for that lawsuit. So Nicki Minaj don't need any extra added on lawsuit. If you get involved with Desiree and with Desiree, you get involved with Rock Nation, right? That's not something you want to get involved with. That's not something you want to get involved with. Because Alex Spiro is Jay-Z's lawyer. And I don't care. I'm sure Judge Bernstein is a good lawyer. He ain't no Alex Spiro. He ain't no Alex Spiro. Alex Spiro will chew up a lawyer like Judge Bernstein and spit him out. He's been paid by Jay-Z ahead of time. All those years that Jay-Z didn't need a lawyer, and before these cases, he was still paying Alex Spiro millions of dollars a year. And Alex Spiro didn't even have to do anything for Jay-Z. But Jay-Z said he knew that one day somebody was going to try something. Somebody was going to try to sue him. Somebody was going to come with a frivolous accusation. So I'm keeping him on payroll just in case. And what happened? Tony Busby comes with a frivolous accusation. And Jay-Z says, okay, Alex, you've already been being paid for 2-3 years. Go get him. Money should be no, and Alice is going to stop whatever he's doing, and he's going to go take her Jay-Z because Jay-Z's already paid him millions. So people be like, oh yeah, Jay is paying out to these lawyers. He's already paid those lawyers. So Jay-Z ain't paying Alex Spiro a dime. He's already paid him. I got lawyers like shooters working pro bono for me because I paid him M's. He said that on a record. I got lawyers like shooters working pro bono for me because I thrown them M's. So you don't want to be messed with Alex Spiro. Like you just don't want him in your facility. You don't want him saying your name. You don't want him sending you no papers because Alex Spiro is a pit bull. He's a pit bull. And you're going to have to spend some money to fight Alex Spiro and Jay-Z because they have unlimited resources. They have unlimited resources. Now, Nicki Minaj is a millionaire, right? A multimillionaire. But she ain't got the money Jay-Z got. And I'm sure Judd Bernstein is not the amount of money that Alex Spiro charged. But if you see now, do not be surprised. Everybody's saying, oh, nothing's going to happen to Nicki. I'm not saying something's going to happen to her. But getting deposed into this lawsuit is not going to be good because now they're going to look into, are you paying her lawyers? You're going to have to prove that you're not. They're going to look into her receipts and see if this girl has spoken to Nicki Minaj on DM. See if Nicki Minaj has called her on the phone. They're going to look into all that stuff. Same thing they're doing with Milagro right now. And if you're Nicki Minaj, do you really have time for that? So if you notice, that's a part of the reason why Nicki Minaj has not mentioned Desiree and Jay-Z. And she's went on her hiatus. And before, she was saying she's on hiatus, but she came off it. If you notice now, she's staying on hiatus. And she isn't saying anything. Now, part of the reason is what's going on with Kenneth Petty. Yes, that is part of the reason. But the other part of the reason is Desiree, Alex Spiro, and Jay-Z are saying, you were calling us. You wanted us to respond. Well, guess what? We've now responded. You just wouldn't leave well enough alone. The first 50 times you mentioned my name, I didn't respond. I didn't say anything. I let you rock. But now, I think you're involved with my daughter. I think you're in cahoots with my daughter on a lawsuit, and now I have to stop you. And I want you deposed. And if it comes out that you have dealed with my daughter, you're having private dealings, you paid for an attorney, you got whatever, you're going to be hit with a gag order. So that's the reason why I said, this is not Nicki's fight. Like Desiree Hadley winning a case against her mother does nothing for Nicki. Does nothing for Nicki. Unless she's funding her in some way and saying, well, I'll pay you back once I win this lawsuit. Yeah, think about stuff like that. Do I personally think, and like I said, maybe I'm giving Nicki too much credit. Maybe I'm being naive. But people say, when I told people that, they said, Heaven, you remember what happened with Jade? Remember Jade and Baddie G got into it with Cardi B, and the next thing you know, Jade and Baddie G was in Nicki Minaj's video, and then there was rumors that Nicki Minaj paid for Jade's lawyer. Now, that was never confirmed, but they had, Baddie G and Jade are Instagram models, and they had some pretty high price lawyers defending them. And everybody's like, how did she pay for that? So that's how the rumor of Nicki Minaj paid for her lawyers got started. Do I think she paid for their lawyers? I don't. But her hatred for Cardi B is deep enough that I can see her say, go get you some good lawyers. I'll pay for it. She hates Cardi B that much. I don't think she hates Desiree that much that she's going to be paying for this stranger's lawyer fee, her daughter's lawyer fee, not knowing that is her daughter. What if Nicki Minaj helps his daughter out, daughter wins the case, and then the daughter's like, I didn't say I was going to get you nothing. Or the daughter gets back in good with Desiree. It is her daughter, so that's always that's always an option, right? So that's the reason why I was saying I didn't really want Nicki Minaj involved in this thing. It does her no good. It doesn't do anything for her. Like with Kenya. Okay, I don't think she is. In the situation with Jade, she was with 6ix9ine at the time, and him and Nicki were cool. Yeah, I know that, but Kenya, what you have to remember is that happened before Jade was with 6ix9ine. That situation happened. When that situation happened, Jade had just finished smashing Offset. She wasn't with 6ix9ine yet. She didn't get with 6ix9ine until a couple of months afterwards. But when that whole situation about them getting beat up and stuff like that, she wasn't with 6ix9ine yet. When that situation happened, she had just gotten off Offset. But then a couple of months later, she got with 6ix9ine. Right? When 6ix9ine was in jail. And yes, Nicki was cool with 6ix9ine. Did she put these girls in a video because it was 6ix9ine's girlfriend? Maybe. Maybe that had something to do with it. But if she was just 6ix9ine's girlfriend and that wasn't a situation with Cardi B, I don't think Nicki Minaj would have gave a damn. I don't think she would have gave a damn. Nicki only really says something when the person is involved with one of her ops. If it was just some random Joe Schmo, Nicki wouldn't have even cared. She definitely wouldn't be no rumors about her paying no girls lawyer fees, and she wouldn't have had them girls in her video either. But it was the fact that it was Cardi B, that's why she put them in the video. And if she paid for the lawyers, it wasn't because of 6ix9ine. It was definitely because she wanted to try to troll Cardi B or hurt Cardi B in some way. If these girls win the case, I pay for their lawyers, I can get something kicked back to me on the back end. Stuff like that. So, yes, she's having marriage issues. I don't know whether she threw his clothes out the house. I heard that they are still in the same house, but they are on separate sides of the house. This is what I'm getting from the person who talks to Kenneth Petty. And I know her very well. I won't tell you how well, but I know it very well. But yeah, listen. Me personally, only because my cousin Light, who knows Nicki Minaj, I always like to mention people. People always say, you always name dropping. I have to name drop my cousin Light so y'all know the connection. So I called up my nigga Light with the light green Rover. With the money green Rover. Called up my nigga Light with the money green Rover. That was my cousin, Light, right? He's from Queens. He knew Nicki Minaj. He knew Nicki Minaj since, she was 12, 13 years old. And he's the one who told me when that person said, oh yeah, that's why he slapped Nicki on the car. He's the one that told me, he was like, he didn't slap under no car. Like, it was in a parking lot. And there were cars there. And Nicki kind of like put her head under the car to protect herself from him hitting her again. So he said he said he didn't beat her under a car, but he slapped her in Queens Park. This is what my cousin said, in the parking lot. And then to stop him from hitting her again, she put her head under the car. So, it's hard for him to go down there. She put her head under the car. But he didn't beat her under the car. But when he told me that, I was like, oh, this dude's a piece of shit. Like, Nicki shouldn't be with this guy. So I never liked him from then. But she married him, had a kid with him, so obviously she sees nothing wrong with it. Yo, please support the channel. The Cash App is $HeavenHollywood. There's a super chat. I prefer the Cash App, but the super chat is cool too. Right? Will Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty make it through the year? We're in September. I think Nicki Minaj is very high on image, integrity, and she don't like people telling you, I told you so. So I say yes, they're going to make it through the year. We'll reevaluate afterwards. Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro Grams. Will Megan Thee Stallion will Milagro Grams be found guilty for defamation, for promoting a deepfake tape, for libel, for slander? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that Kelsey mentioning Megan having a drinking problem and other people mentioning that Megan has, Carl Crawford mentioning she has a problem with alcohol, I think that's going to save Milagro from them saying you called her a drunk. And on top of that, that tweet that she had, she said she was talking to Megan Kenneth because Megan Kenneth has also had a history of alcoholism. So as far as I'm saying, did you call her? I think she's going to be not guilty on that. As far as defamation goes with the case, calling her a liar, this, that, and the other, I think too many people have called her a liar in order for him to single out Milagro. So I think that Milagro is going to probably be not guilty there as well. But where I do think she's going to have an issue is two places. Was she taking money from Daystar Peterson, his father, both, or neither one of them, or at least one of them? I think she might have an issue with that because I don't know what's in the DMs. And I think she's going to have a problem when about the deep fake tape, spreading the deep fake tape. I think that go check my likes might end up being a problem for Milagro. But I don't think she's going to get hit with defamation. I don't think she's going to hit with liable. I don't think she'll get hit with defaming Megan Thee Stallion. But she could get hit with the deep fake tape. And she could get hit with taking money. I hope she doesn't. I hope she wasn't taking money. But it's going to be tough to try to prove it. And Cardi B, like I said, 155K is my prediction. As far as the MTV Awards, I was shocked to find out that they did bigger numbers this year than they did last year. Last year you had, was Nicki Minaj there last year or that was the year before? I think Nicki Minaj was there the year before. But you had Taylor Swift there, right? I believe Cardi B was there. You had a lot of people there at the VMAs. I think Beyonce was there last year. You had a lot of people at the VMAs last year that wasn't there this year, yet and still this year posted better numbers than last year. I think Tate McRae, shout out to Tate McRae. I think Tate McRae put on one of the best performances in MTV Awards history, second to only Madonna's, Michael Jackson's. Madonna and Michael Jackson's had great legendary performances. I can't think of everybody at the time, but I believe that Tate McRae is very talented, and she could be next up. A lot of different streaming awards and a lot of different first timers due to streaming, right? And going on and due to just the digital world. So the show, I didn't watch the entirety of the show, but it seemed all right. And the ratings were actually up from last year. So shout out to them, man, because I didn't expect it. Shout out to Mariah Carey, her first MTV award, which is crazy, but she deserves that Michael Jackson Vanguard Award. So shout out to Mimi, man. Drake, I think it's time that you just cut everybody off. I told you before what to do. The only record you should be concentrating on making should be Young Money with Nicki and Wayne. Do a Young Money album with Nicki and Wayne. You can have, if you want to get a cameo on one of the songs, do a 6-song EP with Nicki and Wayne. Everybody else can get the Bozak as far as I'm concerned. Young Thug is talking about you after you said give him $1 million. Like, bro, stop being friends with these people. These people are not friends with you. They call you colonizer and culture vulture behind your back, but yet and still they take your money and they take your cosign and they take all these things, and you were never a colonizer then. You were never a culture vulture then. You weren't bad for the culture then. If I'm so bad for the culture, and I have to ask anti-Drake fans this. If Drake is so bad for the culture, why has the culture been in the toilet since this beef? Don't worry, I'll wait. If Drake is so bad for the culture, why do you have podcasters saying, oh, it's because of Drake. It's because Drake, he's not out and the culture's suffering. Well, why would the culture suffer if you guys said he's a colonizer? Why would the culture suffer if you guys said he's a culture vulture? Why would the culture suffer? Isn't Kendrick Lamar the hip-hop messiah? Kendrick won the beef. This is what y'all said, right? This is what y'all said. Y'all said Kendrick Lamar won the beef. He's the new king of hip-hop. He brought hip-hop back. He saved the culture. So then why is hip-hop losing so much money? Why are there no songs in the top 10 on the Hot 100? Why? If he's bad for the culture, why do you care that he did an interview with Bobby Altoff? Why do you care? You called him a white boy, right? So he's just really doing what white boys do. He went and interviewed with a white girl. Because when he was helping out every single Negro in hip-hop, y'all said it wasn't good enough for y'all. He helped out every single black rapper in the game. You heard Offset, and Offset's not the only one who says that. The Game said it. Drake came over to the West Coast, didn't charge me nothing. Got up in the video. I didn't charge a fee. He didn't even charge me a fee for getting in my video. You heard Offset say it. You've heard Quavo say it. So if all these dudes are doing videos, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, he's just a good dude. You can't be on camera, Kendrick Lamar, saying Drake is just a good dude and he put me in front of the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of. When his record label told him, don't take Kendrick Lamar on tour with you, he said, I'm going to take Kendrick Lamar and A$AP Rocky on tour with me. He went against what his label said. See, I know you young dudes, y'all go, oh, he's a PDF. Oh, who cares? Like, y'all don't give a damn. You have no integrity. You young niggas have no integrity, so it don't even matter to y'all. You young dudes 30 and under, y'all got no integrity. So y'all still sit there and laugh when this man has done more for hip-hop in the last 10, 15 years than any of these artists. Name me an artist. Name me an artist who's done more for the culture in the last 10 years than Drake. Who has Kendrick helped? Who has Future helped? Who have they helped? Who have they put on? Offset pretty much sat there and said, he right. Drake is the reason why we blew up. When he got on that, we had motion, but when he got on that Versace remix, that's when we took off. So if the dude is sitting there, he pays homage to people that's come before him. He does features for lesser artists. Doesn't really charge them. He's put UK rap has been around forever. When did we start getting interested in UK rap? When Drake went over there and bought Central C and Pressa and all these dudes? When they started doing collaboration with Drake? Because I had never even heard of Central C. I had never even heard of that dude, the other dude in the UK. that Drake does records with. I've never heard of these dudes. I never heard of the Migos. Now, I know more people in Atlanta, South Carolina, back in the day, heard about the Migos. I knew nothing about the Migos until Drake got on that Versace. And I'm in New York. I was in New York. We were not rocking the Migos. In the mid-2000s, we were not rocking the Migos in New York. But then when Drake got on that Versace, we made like, oh, okay. Oh. And then when they dropped Bad and Bougie, that made people pay attention. That made me pay attention to Bad and Bougie. Because okay, these are the dudes that Drake was on their joint. Okay. The dude constantly helps artists. That's all he's been doing. Is helping artists. Helping artists. All of these artists, their biggest hits are with Drake. Their biggest hits are with Drake. But he's the culture vulture? But he wasn't a culture vulture, Kendrick Lamar, when he put your black ass on camera. He wasn't a culture vulture. He wasn't a white boy, Rick Ross, when he gave you your biggest hits. Right? He was okay then. Yeah, you gonna have to get your ghostwriters. Wait, yo, white boy. Yo, white boy. Let me tell you something. Go get your ghostwriters to, come at me, write a hit that's gonna stick. Make sure you alert your ghostwriters, white boy. Oh, so now he got ghostwriters. But wasn't you just 4 or 5 years ago, Rick Ross, talking about how Drake is the only guy in the rap game other than you that can walk into a studio and don't need nothing, and all you got to do is put a beat on for him, and within an hour or two he can make magic. He's just like me and Drake. We only 2 or 2 in the industry. We the only 2 people that can walk into a studio and hear a beat and make magic from it. And create. When it comes to the creators, we're the best. So does he have ghostwriters or is he a creator? Does he have ghostwriters? How can he be one of the great creators that creates other than you if he's got ghostwriters? Sickening. And then those young people be going right along with it. Oh, yeah, here's a PDF. Oh, A minor. And then you got people like Ebro that call Drake a cancer. He's a cancer to hip-hop. But then you see Ebro out DJing, and every record he's playing is a Drake record. Why aren't you playing Kendrick? I thought Kendrick won the beef. I thought Kendrick saved hip-hop. I thought Drake is corny, and Kendrick opened up our eyes to how corny Drake is. And Kendrick's the one with the bars, and he's the pure hip-hop, and he's for the culture, and Drake isn't. So if Kendrick Lamar is for the culture, and Drake isn't, why every single person that plays records are playing twice as more Drake records than Kendrick Lamar? I thought he was bad for the culture. What's up, XA? Is he bad for the culture or not? Can't have it both ways. Anyway, y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all let me know your thoughts below in the comments, man. I didn't like the Bobby Aldorf interview because I just thought it was corny. We've seen it before. I don't think Bobby Aldorf is talented. I think she caught a wave because she was doing like what Funny Marco was doing. And Funny Marco was kind of new in the game doing that. She went and took his blueprint and followed behind him. So now she's a white girl doing it as opposed to him being a black man. Now she's a white girl doing it. That's going to attract men more because she's a white girl. That attract all the black rappers. They want to come and do an interview with Bobby Aldorf, wherein they probably would not have done it with Funny Marco. So I didn't like the interview because I just thought it was corny. I think she's corny. And the second time around, the first time we didn't know what to expect, so it was kind of funny, you know, with the way she was acting and stuff. But the second time back, we know what to expect. And I'm like, I didn't laugh at anything during that interview. I didn't think Drake was funny. I didn't think she was funny. I was like, this interview sucks. But I wasn't mad because he did an interview with Bobby Aldorf because I'm glad he didn't do an interview with Hip Hop Media. Think about it. People were complaining saying, oh, Drake needs to do an interview with the top hip hop interview. Okay, so let's go down the line. Who's at the top? Joe Budden? Joe Budden don't mess with Drake. Joe Budden don't mess with Drake. All he does is insult him. Who, Charlemagne? Charlemagne's been one of Drake's biggest haters since 2010 when he dropped. He gonna go on Ebro? Ebro called him a cancer. Where's he gonna go? Elliot, you gonna go to Elliot Wilson? He already had Elliot Wilson's weird-looking self up in his mansion, and Elliot Wilson shitted on him during the whole Kendrick thing. But yet and still, you were sitting up in his house drinking vino, you had no problem. He's not gonna go to Elliot. He's not gonna go to Joe Budden podcast. Where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go? If he goes to the people who mess with him, academics or Rory and Mark, if he goes there, what are the people gonna say? Oh, he only went there because he know they gonna be glazing him and they not gonna ask him no real questions. So that's the only reason why he going over there to academic or going to Rory and Mark, because he know they just gonna glaze him and they ain't gonna ask him no real questions. Am I right or wrong? Y'all know good and damn well I'm right. That's he go over there because he know they gonna ask him easy questions and they not gonna challenge him on nothing. Academics is he glazing Drake. They be glazing Drake. He ain't gonna do no interview with nobody that's gonna challenge him. So it wouldn't even matter if he would have did an interview with academics or with Rory and Mar. Everybody would have said he just took the easy way out. And these other people don't like him. So why should he go on their podcast or their radio station, give them all these huge ratings because he's on there? Because that's exactly what happened. And then go back the next day to not talking to him again. Let me see what y'all saying. Questions. When the Bob OG1s say this about Nicki, don't we get called crazy for standing up for her? Okay. X say what? When you say what about Nicki? What Nicki did for hip hop? I don't know. Like, I don't talk about Drake and Nicki in the same breath because they both have responded different. So they're doing Drake. But now it's so obvious to most. So you would probably have to explain to me what you mean by when you say when they stick up for Nicki. Because I don't have a problem if the Barbs stick up for Nicki when the hate train was going on, I had no problem. Of course, that's when you're supposed to defend her with the hate train. The issue I have with the Barbs are they defend Nicki whether she's right or wrong. And then when she's wrong, y'all don't never hold her accountable. See, that's a part about being a responsible fan base. Because it's not about, oh, I don't care whether she's right or wrong. I'm going to say she's right. No. Because then she's never going to think she's wrong. I think Drake and Nicki have had the same slander, despite their huge contribution to hip-hop. But Drake is contributing to Drake's contribution to hip-hop. Nicki's contribution to hip-hop is strictly through her work. But Nicki's had a bad reputation of not really bringing up or working with the other female rappers without having an issue. Drake doesn't have that same reputation. There aren't many people, there weren't many rappers until this situation that says anything negative about Drake. But Nicki, from way back from Mariah Carey, there's people who her peers that don't like her. And that's just not normal. Right? Missy Elliott is noted as one of the nicest people in